The Accidental Boss. Hi, my name is Alex Ling, and I've recently taken over as the big boss of the company I work for because the coronavirus has sent most of my colleagues into isolation. I'm pretty new at my job and haven't exactly made a great impression so far, so now this is my chance to shine. Before this all began, I was playing a game on my work computer and accidentally bought 1 million toilet rolls. Who knew that eBay wasn't a game? Who knew it was actually a highly advanced trading system? I almost got fired that day. The game, or as I now know it, the trading system, had called the toilet rolls the deal of the century. But how can buying that many toilet rolls be of any kind of a deal? It's not like I've got diarrhea or anything. Usually I'm a very positive kind of guy, but when HR informed me that I had 1 month to sell all 1 million toilet rolls or I'd be out the door, it was enough to deflate even the most optimistic of people. Then, on Monday morning, just like that, everything changed. I arrived at work as usual and found the building completely abandoned. After logging onto my computer, I found an urgent email to the whole company informing us that the most senior member of staff left in the office would have to take over as the boss. After some extensive calls with HR, lots of checks, double checks, and even a very desperate triple check, it was official. I was their only hope, the only man that could keep the business afloat. If I'm completely honest, I don't really understand what my boss does. I know he comes in late on Monday morning, plays golf all day on Friday, and spends a lot of time sitting in the big meeting room on the second floor in his very large swivel chair, but other than that, I'm at a bit of a loss. While I ponder where to start, I decide to begin the day by checking on my toilet roll sales, but there seems to be a technical problem with my eBay login, meaning I can't access the latest figures. As of Friday evening, I'd managed to resell 20 toilet rolls, but that still left 999,980 to shift. At this rate, it was going to take me 50,000 weeks or 961.5 years to sell them all. At this rate, my great grandchildren would still be selling them at the end of the millennium. I needed a plan, and I needed one fast. It was pretty lonely working on my own, no one to run my amazing ideas by, so I decided to share and debate them with my two newly appointed colleagues, me and myself. I wanted to do things properly, the way a proper boss would, so I took everyone off to the big meeting room on the second floor, the one with the very large swivel chair. I've always wanted to sit in that chair. Unfortunately, we encountered a small problem when we reached the room. The door was locked and no one had a key, so after some quick thinking on my part, we relocated to the caretaker's hallowed storeroom. We were a little short on chairs and a meeting table, but as I didn't want anyone to stand, I pulled some packs of toilet rolls into a makeshift circle and we were ready to begin. I mean, what's the point of owning 1 million toilet rolls if you can't put them to good use? A little time was wasted while we debated job roles and titles, but in the end it was agreed that me would be the financial director, myself would oversee stock, and I, of course, would be the boss. Half an hour into the meeting, and everything was going really well. I'm on fire today, I thought proudly, as we covered item 7 on our agenda. No, literally, I'm on fire. The toilet roll pack I was sitting on had been placed too close to the heater and was starting to smoke. This was really not a good thing to happen, as my company has a very strict no smoking policy, a policy that I am totally going to uphold while I'm in charge, or at least I will, once I get this pack of smoking toilet rolls out of the building. I needed to act fast as people were relying on me. I hit the fire alarm hard and escorted everyone out of the building in a calm and orderly manner. Well, apart from myself, who ran from the building, flaying his arms and shouting, "We're all gonna die!" Once we were all outside, I carried out a roll call to make sure we'd not lost anyone in the evacuation. Things carried on much the same for the next couple of weeks, until the staff and my boss came out of isolation. When HR returned, they asked for an update on the toilet roll situation. After the IT department had resolved my eBay password issue, it turned out all the toilet roll packets had been sold. The bidding had gone a bit crazy at one point and we'd actually made a mint. Who knew that everyone would want toilet rolls during a lockdown? Well, the company is certainly in good financial shape, better than it's ever been, said the major shareholders, agreeing to make Alex a managing director. Just one question, asked Mr. Rutherford, my boss, looking rather perplexed. Why is there a packet of burnt toilet rolls sitting in the middle of the staff car park? Well, I said, when you're on fire, and speaking managing director to managing director, I'm sure I need to say no more. Your methods are certainly unorthodox, Alex, Mr. Rutherford replied. Unorthodox is my middle name, I say. Well, it's not really my middle name, it's actually Paul, but that's never worked for me. A. Paul Ling. No, I mean Gary. I can call you Gary, can't I? I mean, me and my colleagues have just pulled off the deal of the century, haven't we? I continued. What do you mean, we? Gary asked nervously. Well, it was a group effort, I say. Me, myself, and I are an awesome team, if I do say so myself. The next day I checked my calendar and realised that the next big thing was going to be Easter. I knew I needed to act quickly and boldly. Within a few keystrokes, I was logged into eBay and lining up to order for 1 million Easter eggs. Well, I thought it was to purchase 1 million Easter eggs, but I might have accidentally rested my coffee cup on the zero key and bought a few more than I'd planned. It's okay though, HR have given me 1 month to resell them. I'm already on the phone, reassembling my team. Dave, the fattest pigeon. Once there was a pigeon called Dave. He was the fattest pigeon on earth, and he had two best friends, Gerald and Bob. Gerald and Bob were the kindest pigeon friends ever, and Dave was the happiest pigeon. Although Dave was the fattest pigeon, his friends were quite different too. Bob ribbits like a frog instead of cooing, and Gerald has two heads, Gerald 1 and Gerald 2. Dave was fat because he ate lots and lots and lots of strange things. One day Dave noticed that he had eaten all the bird food, so he looked round for other things to eat. He saw a football in a garden, and that looked like a suet ball, so he thought he would try to eat that too. Lately he was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. He was even eating socks and pants that were hanging on people's washing lines. He was so heavy that he could not sit on a branch without breaking it. There was no way of stopping Dave now he was the size of a basketball. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Oh no, Dave had eaten the bird feeder. After the bird feeder, Dave was still hungry, so he rolled over to the football goal in the garden and ate that as well. But even that was not enough. He was as big as a house now and could barely fly, so he had to roll around everywhere. His eyes shot to the shed. He rolled as fast as he could to the shed and had a nibble. Crunch, crunch, crunch. He ate the roof of the shed. Then he ripped the door off as well, and with his beak. But that was still not enough, so he rolled down a hill to the town. But Dave was going too fast and he began to bounce. He bounced so high that he landed on a church steeple, which made him pop. When all the air came out of Dave, he did a loop-the-loop 6 times before stopping. He looked like a balloon deflating. The air was very stinky. We all know where the air came out from. But Dave went back to his usual self, just a bit baggy. Dave was on the floor lying still. He opened one eye and he was scared and lost. But then he heard a ribbit and saw a 2-headed pigeon. It was Bob and Gerald. They picked Dave up under their wings and flew baggy Dave back home. Dave laid down and woke up in an hour, but it was just a dream. Dave told Bob, Gerald 1 and Gerald 2 his silly dream. They all cooed and ribbited at the funny parts. Dave, Bob and Gerald 1 and Gerald 2 all lived happily ever after. But Dave was always careful with what he ate and was never greedy again. The Ice Party. Once upon a time, on an icy day, everyone was ice skating. Horsey, Bunny and Leopard. Beautiful Bunny was amazing at ice skating, but Horsey was extremely clumsy. One day, Horsey slipped over and broke the ice. Everyone swimmed in the icy water. They made ice cones and their tongues got stuck. They made an iceman and had an ice party. They had lots of fun swimming in the icy cold water. They had icy drinks and icy lollipops, and they didn't mind the cold. because they were having lots of fun. They played in it for too long and they turned into an ice cube and they were rock solid. The end.